for stools that are black tarry in characteristic, it's actually an indication of bleeding on the upper GI tract. So it can also happen in case of cancer, peptic ulcer disease, or in some instances, IBD. So what you can do is that you can take in papaya leaves that can help you. Boil that, drink that 3 times a day. Guyabano leaves as well can help, aloe vera, and cabbage juice. So I hope this short video is able to help you. So I have a question here about colon cancer and hemorrhoids. So for colon cancer, this cancer means neoplasia or new growth. So anything that is a new growth along the colon, okay, which can be the cecum, the ascending, descending, transverse colon, sigmoid, and rectum. So any new growth on that area, that new growth that is dysplastic or neoplasia, like what I said earlier, so those are called cancer, colon cancer. So depending on which part of the colon is afflicted, so you would see symptoms. For example, if the tumor is found on the right side, most probably the person will complain of weakness, anorexia, anemia, and then he or she would notice that the poop is blackish or brownish in color, dark brown. It's because the bleeding, which is typical of colon cancer, the red blood cells had already undergone some form of breakdown. So if there's a breakdown, you will see them as blackish or very dark brown in color. So that's with the right-sided. Now, you go to the left side, that's where your sigmoid and rectum is located. You would have symptoms of obstruction. So it depends. So you can be constipated for a couple of days. So eventually, if the tumor is already obstructing the lumen of the colon, most probably if you go to a doctor, they might suggest a colostomy for you because there's an obstruction now. So you would also have bleeding. Now the bleeding, the typical bleeding that you see is reddish in color, bright red. So that's why it's the same with hemorrhoids, because with hemorrhoids, one of the symptoms also is bleeding, especially when you are in the internal hemorrhoids. Now, what are hemorrhoids? Hemorrhoids, also known as piles, if you're British. So these are the vessels going to the rectum. They're engorged and they become irritated, and after that they burst, not really burst, but yeah, like burst. So they burst and then they start bleeding. So if there's no pain, it can be internal hemorrhoid. Now when there's pain, itchiness, pruritus they call it, so it can be an external hemorrhoids. It can be very painful as well because of the nerve endings that are rich in this part of the body. Okay? So the diet plan for colon cancer is that, of course, no sugar. Again, I reiterated that sugar is the food of the cancer. They have 96 receptors for sugar, and normal cell, they only have 4 receptors for sugar. So try to not eat also foods that would make you constipate. So there are certain foods that would make you constipate. Also very difficult to digest because most of these people with colon cancer, they have problems of digestion, eventually absorption. So that's in the end, that's why they become skinny. So try to avoid eating those type of food. For herbal, what I can tell you is that the best is guyabano leaves. So guyabano leaves, alugbate, okra, garlic, ginger, especially garlic. There's a lot of research about garlic that it can help manage cancer. So that's one of the best herbal remedy out there. And ginger as well. Ginger, very good. So you have to eat food also. I forgot, you have to eat also food that are rich in iron, like molasses. Molasses is very good. But you try to eat molasses because the true molasses, they're not sweet. So they're actually very bitter in taste. So Boston Sea has molasses on it. That's why a lot of people are complaining, Doctora, how come it's bitter? Because that's really how the taste of the real molasses is. They usually are bitter in taste. Okay? So get a handful of all those herbs. You boil them 5 to 10 minutes, and then you drink them 3 times a day. So Boston Sea, the best also, 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. Megadose vitamin C, 1 tablespoon once a day. Pixie dust, 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. I hope that this video is able to help you. So please let me know how else I can help you. Bye!